Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Surface. I am your host, Susan Elizabeth. On today's episode, we have our guest today, Letty, and I will let her introduce herself. Welcome, Letty.
Hi, nice to be here. Very excited. I am Ledia. You can call me Lady. It's a lot easier to say that. I am a life and grief coach, and I help people get out of their head, be better, learn how to just be, which is very important, without action, without too much thinking, and just being the observer and not the observee.
So, Letty, so much you kind of just shared so much with us on what you do. It sounds like there are so many different levels of your profession, your trade. And, let's start off by just kind of discussing how you chose this life path, or maybe the life path chose you.
I believe that it chose me. I was born to do what I do. Life absolutely had its, doing in it, had its tricks in it, had its all obstacles in it that threw my way. But ultimately, I knew at a very young age I was born into this world to help people. I just had to grow up, go through the trials and tribulations to realize how to help those people and who to help all together, because you can't help everybody, right? Some people have to help themselves.
That's a great point. I think that is one of the first times that was brought up on this show. With this show, we often, right, I'm interviewing other people that are of service of others, whether it's in the mental health field.
Right.
But that is the first time somebody has brought up to me in the realm of who to help. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that and how you found who you were meant to help?
So obviously in the beginning, you're so eager, you want to kind of like do everything. You want to touch everything, help everything, tap into everything, but that's just not realistic. So as I evolved more and more into my gifts and my abilities to help people, I realized that I work best with people who already have the basic knowledge.
The
So
foundation?
that foundation of changing your mindset, living a more holistic lifestyle, then I can jump in and help you when you're stuck. Advance. Get out of that stuckness. Because a lot of people get stuck. They go to a certain level and then they get stuck. They don't know how to advance. They don't know how to move up a scale. They just, this is what I know, and I think I hit the ceiling. The ceiling is the sky. The sky doesn't have an ending. So you can always reach for more and more and more and be better. As long as we're better, we try to strive to be better every day. That's the best thing that you can do.
I love that. And I once read that there's so much out there, right, on social media.
Yeah.
There's so many different platforms, right? And
Yeah.
on all these different platforms, you can read how we need to strive to be better, we need to evolve, right? And on the same note, there's this contradicting evidence-based article or professional that's going to state we're working too hard to be better. We're obsessed. Our generation is obsessed
Right.
with evolving. What are your thoughts on that? How do we know when we're stagnant? How do we know? You talked about just be. How do we differentiate all those different components of right when we're just being? Are we stagnant? How do we differentiate that?
So I'm glad that you brought the just being, right? It is proven because a lot of people need Western knowledge, Eastern knowledge, and then spiritual knowledge to kind of encapsulate it all, right? So let's put it into science facts.
Okay.
Quantum physics, quantum philosophy, quantum mechanics have all proved that reality is controlled by the observer. You observe something, it becomes reality. You stop observing it, it stops existing, right? The whole point of being is for you to be that observer without action. I sit here without a thought in my head. I sit here without a judgment in my head. I sit here just observing the floor. Actionless. When you feel uncomfortable in that state and you are itching for more, that's when you know you have to get to the next level. It's like the little crab in the shell. They grow out the shell, they pull themselves out of that old shell, build a new shell, like the snake grows out its skin, builds a new skin. That's all we have to do. But right now, what's happening is that everybody's pushing. Everybody's is going to be this life coach and that life coach and this mentor and that mentor. And there's $7 certificates now for,
for my friend and I were talking about that the other day.
Hold up.
Should we become life coaches with our certifications and our licenses? I'm glad you're bringing this up. It's it's prominent in the mental health field.
But it has lost its spark because now it's very common when something is like this, just like normal. Oh, I can reach here and reach there. That's not special anymore. So the people with the true abilities to help you are falling in the background because the people that are learning the AIs, the systematic way of becoming popular on social media are leaving everybody else behind. But guess what? Even without social media, even without a website, even without anything substantial, word of mouth will bring you all the right people to you.
That's true.
And you will always thrive. And that's what's happened in my case. Word of mouth has brought everybody to me.
With all that being said, how exactly did you mentioned that this is your life purpose found you. How did you navigate through that? How did you know when your life purpose found you? At what point in your life? Is there a pivotal moment?
Absolutely. Went through a lot. Give you the quickest synopsis of my life, right? I was born underdeveloped on the left side of my body. I didn't have a hip joint that was full developed. My left eye is not as developed as my right eye. My left arm is shorter than my right arm. So it's like I have a heart condition. It's also to the left of the body. So it seems like my whole side of the left side of my body was not fully developed. So I had to have multiple surgeries when I was little. 10 days old. I was in a cast from waist down until 2.5. That brought a lot of other challenges growing up. And then we didn't know anything about my heart until I was 19. Then came the cervical cancer diagnosis. Then it just unraveled through there. So in every single part of my life where there was a traumatic event, it acted like a portal. So even if though I knew I was meant to help people, the first time that I had that realization was I was 9 years old. My grandparents died in a very horrific car accident.
I'm so incredibly sorry.
And
Were you close with them?
grew up with the same house with them. They were my life and my heart and soul besides my parents. And it changed the perspective of my life at that time.
Wow.
I saw two different reactions to their death, the women and the men. The women were wailing, crying, all of that. The men were very stoic.
You mentioned the observee and the observer.
Yes.
Is this when?
I started to observe.
Okay.
Very hard. Even though my whole childhood I was much of an observer, at that moment I became very thoroughly observing everybody, how they moved and how they handled this difficult situation. I was 9. I didn't know anything. I just knew that the two people that I loved the most just disappeared out of thin air. And I noticed how the two different types of human beings, a woman and a man, were reacting to this very differently. And something clicked in me in that moment, said, you know what? I want to embody both so I can help both. Because I realized that the women were having too much pain, but the men were not releasing their pain.
Balance.
So I wanted to create balance. And it started, that was the little, scratch in my brain, the little itch that like, I need to be different and help people and not just be regular child like everybody else.
Okay.
So that was my first calling. The second calling is when I came and moved to America. I was 16. I saw a radical change on how humans interact with life. I came from a very cultural Albanian-based home to now I'm thrown into a Unity's Diversity was the motto of our school. I'm like, okay, how do I do this? I became the observer again. I was very quiet, but I made sure to observe every single thing in order to help people. And I did. I did help. I went into Red Cross. I went into like the very different facets of school that I could help people. But it all came crushing down when I got the diagnosis for my heart at 19, and then the cervical cancer diagnosis.
How old were you then?
22. So I became the victim.
And
Victim
what do you
mentality
So
set
you
in.
took
Why
on-
me?
Well, with all things considering, you know, and I think it's important that we speak about this. The victim, you know, there's such controversy also, and there are there are victims in life.
Absolutely.
There are victims, right?
Absolutely.
But then we also don't want to take on that victim mentality.
Absolutely.
So what I was going to say was, with all things considering, you also had so many trials and tribulations
Yes.
prior to these two major traumatic, pivotal points and experiences. So what happened next?
So I felt like I was a victim of the medical system. I went to this doctor, it would give me a roadmap, and that roadmap was not working. I would go to another one and it would give me a roadmap. It just wasn't working. Same with cardiologists. I looked at 9 cardiologists before I settled with one, because instead of, and I would ask the question, can we sub this with this? No, we're just gonna add one more medication, one more. So I felt like I was the youngest guinea pig in that pool for that particular cardiologist, and he could throw things at me to test, like, oh, well, she's young enough, let's see how these medications work in this young body and not in an 80-year-old. So when I did settle for the cardiologist that I have been seeing now for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, he saved my life. He had never met me. He only had heard me on the phone. So when I appeared at his office, he was stunned. He said, I thought you were 80 years old, depending on your list of medications. I did not expect a 23-year-old to walk through my door.
This isn't uncommon.
It's very common.
Yep.
So that's where I felt a victim. I felt victim of something that was pre-established that I had kind of no choice of, because I was raised to believe in science. Science saved me, saved my left side of my body, grew my hip, helped me. I wear glasses, I wear bifocals now.
Right.
So science helped me. So who am I now to question something that has helped me throughout my life? But that was the pivotal moment. Okay, there's got to be something more than this. There has to be. And the moment was when I got blood poisoning from digoxin, one of the heart medications that I was taking. And it's a generic heart medication that anybody and everybody takes. It's a very small dosage.
Why this happened and occurred to you?
My body had created a resistance, and then at one point it just erupted. So I went into a comatose situation where I was waiting to see God, the light, all of that. I saw nothing.
Explain the comatose situation.
Lost complete, consciousness after an electrical physical study that they did, where you have to stay awake for 4.5 hours while they pump your heart with electrical pulses. And the whole reason why you have to stay awake, you're numb, obviously, but you have to stay awake because the nurse will ask you questions. You have to be able to answer those questions.
Stop. I just want to intervene a minute.
Yeah.
As I'm listening to your whole, your story, your journey, right, your testimony, I'm thinking about how you had constantly said, I was the observer.
Yes.
But in this portion of your testimony, you were being observed. You were the observee.
Yes.
How did that feel for you?
Lost control. Complete control. Laying numb on a table while
Powerless.
this men behind a glass window with white coats were constantly saying, okay, we're going to ramp it up now. Do you feel that? How does that feel? And I have to answer. I have zero control of my body from waist down. After that episode, I collapsed in the hospital room. And that's when I was like, okay, I kind of knew that it was coming, because I could feel my body, just like my soul leaving my body at that moment. And like I said, I was looking for the light. I didn't see a light. I didn't see nothing. I saw darkness. And when I came back to, I made it my mission to figure out what else was out there. So I was raised in a household with two religions. My parents, my mom was raised Islamic, Muslim, very God-fearing. My dad's side, Christian Orthodox. So I knew how to coexist in an environment with multiple religion, but God was the center of it. And in the moment that I needed God the most, God did not appear to me like I had heard from different, people and experiences, that when you're in that moment, God appears to you. So I was going to a Catholic college at the time, loved it, and I made it my business to take every religious class possible because I wanted to explore what was behind this. And all I learned was that basically the basis is all the same. The explanation, the language might be different, but we all believe in the same thing. And that's when I felt, okay, now what's next? With the help of my cardiologist, I basically, on a drop of a hat, even though he did not give me his blessing, I quit all my medication on one day. Wow. I went to receive a massage for the first time because I was so stressed. It was a gift. And I had an out-of-body experience in that massage room. Right after that, I quit all my meds that same afternoon, and I have not taken a pill ever since. But I made it my business to go inwards and not look for outward stuff anymore. So meditation was the gateway to it, because then I learned about all the facets of what the holistic world brings and what the spiritual brings. And that was the catalyst. That was what changed the trajectory of my life completely, because I wholeheartedly infused myself in the holistic health, mental well-being, physical well-being, soul well-being, because we forget that that is part, and spirit, the only thing that keeps us all connected. I love when people say, oh, mind, body, and soul. What about the spirit? Without that, I don't know who you are and you don't know who I am. That's what keeps us all together. So that was the catalyst of me going into helping everybody, because if I could do it, anybody else can do it.
This is an incredible story, and just with hearing everything, I just want to say I'm so proud of you. Did you find when you made this decision to come off all of these medications, which is a very brave decision, did you find pride in yourself?
I was very proud that I made the decision, but I was also very cautious because I still worried about what everybody else was going to think. And I mostly was worried about my parents, who had sacrificed a lot for my health.
Yes, and we're going to take a break now, and I can't wait to get back into that and hear about, how you felt with external validation, or your fears regarding that,
right?
And your internal motivation to make this decision with such bravery. So we will take a break, and then we will be right back with Letty.
I love that we both got an awesome network and save money doing it.
I know, $25. I love that it's guaranteed for 3 years.
Hey, we're sitting on a sign here.
Switch and get Welcome Unlimited for $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. Verizon.
Oh, no signal. I don't have home internet.
Oh, that's a red flag.
Find the bars.
Your mom looks a lot like me.
Yeah, couple of hotties.
Thank you?
Ah, man. There's dead spots all over this place.
There really are. Oh, wow.
Nothing. Are you getting a good signal?
No, I'm not.
It's time for real home internet. Get it on the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity.
I love that we both got an awesome network and save money doing it.
I know, $25. I love that it's guaranteed for 3 years.
Hey, we're sitting on a sign here.
Switch and get welcome unlimited for $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. Verizon.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Surface. My name is Susan Elizabeth, your host, and we are here with Betty, who is a soul and grief
Guide, coach, whatever you want to call it, but more of a guide. I like to guide people. Coaching is more follow my lead, whereas I walk side by side with you and guide you and kind of, act like that cushion, but also like check you right there.
Oh, we know you're gonna check us. We know. I've been checked by Letty too, and I love that. I think there's such a great balance from you, just knowing you, of the direct. I once heard like honesty without compassion is abuse. But
It is.
But I feel as though you are very extremely honest and transparent, and you're compassionate in the way in which you go about it, and you're direct. I think we need that a little bit more, especially in this generation, right?
Compassion, empathy,
But also, right? Also, being
honesty.
Honesty,
Yeah.
right?
Honesty without hurting, because the brutally honest aspect of honesty, it's not really beneficial to anybody.
Yeah, it can be harmful.
Yes, absolutely.
I think you have a great sense of balance there, and I think that's why it probably makes you, and it does make you, a phenomenal guide, standing side by side.
Thank you.
I really liked that. Before we took our break, we were discussing your decision to come off the medication. I think it sounds like when you started your life path and your life journey to become a guide,
Right.
Or it chose you. And you mentioned something a little bit about your parents. I think nowadays in the mental health field, something that's been very prevalent is the inner child wounds.
Right.
Whether it's shadow work or so on, and healing that.
Yeah.
Because if we date back to so much of our trauma, it stems from childhood. And the trauma can occur, right, in adolescence and adulthood as well, which it does. You mentioned that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So can you speak a little bit more on maybe if you have any inner child wounds, and how your parents' approval or disapproval for you to come off that medication, being you came from this science-based
Right.
upbringing.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
So the fear coming off the medication at the drop of a hat was, my mom's in the medical field, so
that adds on to this.
exactly.
Okay. Yes, that
so
makes more sense.
I didn't want to let anybody down because I was raised to be the best, to be that straight A student, to always strive for the top. You can only be the best and nothing but the best. So anything less than that, it's not worth it. So when I made the decision on my own and not as a collective, as a family, I was afraid that I would let people down. But one thing that I knew is what I felt inside. So when I tell you, I felt like life had just started back up for me because my body got liberated. So my physical well-being in that moment started to thrive again because all these chemicals that were being inputted from the outside were not jading my system anymore.
I just wanted to ask you, did you feel that life inside of you when you made the decision or when you came off of?
When I made the decision.
What does that mean to you? That you felt that prior to having the substance?
I knew that was the answer. I knew right there and then that was and that's what I had to do. I had to do it because if I could feel it before I did it, then I would just have to feel it for the rest of my life.
And even stronger.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit more about what your parents, and especially, your mother's reaction was being in the medical field, because that is...
She was sad. She was sad. She was worried. I'm sure she cried herself to sleep many nights, and I'm sure she worried day in and day out, just like she still does today. That's what moms do, right? We worry 24/7 because we're moms.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't understand it, so I judged her a lot. I judged her for it. I judged her for not letting me be me.
I think a lot of that, how old were you at the time? 19?
23.
23.
Yeah.
Because that happened at 22.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young adults do that.
Yeah.
When they're not parents.
Yeah.
And they judge their parents.
Yeah, but I still was not fully evolved. Like my frontal lobe was not evolved for sure. Logic was floating in the air, but it was not embedded in the system yet.
Yes.
So, I learned to give myself grace. But what happened is that I surrounded myself with an amazing group of people. And that's where I found my first mentor. At the spa where I had my first massage, I got a job there. I made it my business to get a job there. I stood in bed.
You're a go-getter.
And I imagined working there every single day.
What was so special about this massage?
It wasn't just the massage. It was the ambiance. It was the smells in the air. It was the moment that you walked through the door. It felt like a sanctuary, like I belonged there. And I did not know why until I started working there.
Tell us why. And where is this place? Shall we go?
All the women there were just like me. Gifted. Trials, tribulations, still growing, still evolving, different ages. Different fields of life, different backgrounds, different races, different nationalities. And we were all in this little, on our own community, unknowingly fueling each other up to be better. Because for the first time, I had an environment where I could be understood without judgment. I could speak of my gifts without judgment. I could explain things without judgment because everybody else was around me. And that's where another epiphany happened. Oh my goodness, there's nothing better than finding your own tribe. Humans are tribal people.
Yes, we are.
That's where we thrive, where we have our own tribe. Yes. And it just took off from there. I dove into the books. I dove into the first, the affirmations. And then I learned what works and what doesn't work about affirmations, quantum meditation, tapping solution, what different types of modalities of massage can do to you and your body and your mental well-being, and working hand in hand with such talented people made me grow and made me come more and more into my gift. And by the time that the place closed down in August 2022, I knew I wanted nothing more than to help people for the rest of my life. So that's when I turned my lifeline again. I picked another option out of the unlimited options in the quantum field. And I said, you know what? I am going to first heal my inner child before I can help anybody else get to their next level. So that's what I did. And ever since then.
How did you do that? What route did you take to do that? There are many different routes.
Right.
What route did you take?
So trust, faith, have faith and believe, right? A lot of people do not believe in their intuition. And we can call it intuition. We can call it that voice inside your head. You can call it
gut instinct, right?
Gut instinct. You can call it anything and everything under this planet. But we all know what it is. We just have a different name for it, right? You know when you need to make a decision and you trust your own body. That's just vibration. It's messaging from all around you, from nature, from everything that's around you, telling you, go or stop, right? Have you had that experience before?
I have.
Absolutely. So in that moment, I'm sitting there one day and I'm realizing, who is this girl that popped up on my feed? Very intrigued. She was having dinner parties all over Philadelphia. Just clicked and I said, I have to go. I have to go.
Meet her?
Yeah, I'm going to go to one of these dinner parties. I'm just going to go. I go, and right across from me, a wonderful coach is sitting And we started talking. It was like I was looking in the mirror. She told me what she did, and she does exactly and more of what I do right now. She does nervous system regulation. I told her, I was like, girl, let me tell you how I need my nervous system regulated. We connected.
Is that part of you healing your inner
Yes,
child?
we connected. I went through a 9-month program with her. I hated all the 8 months until the very 9th.
What is that program called?
Inner child healing.
Wow. And I want to ask, I mean, this is just the most intriguing journey path. And I think one of the things I wanted to kind of end with, and it's been just an honor to hear, and I think you're going to help tremendous amounts of people in sharing this. If there's a many aspects and facets of your path, right, in your life path. If there is one thing that you wanted to share that has been the most instrumental in taking you from all of the trials and the tribulations, all of the inner child wounds, all of the medical trauma, and what would you say would be the most instrumental piece of your path, or advice, suggestions, guidance per se, I think that would be the best term, that you would give someone in order
Listen to your
be...
own body, listen to your own intuition, because it will never, ever, I put my hand on fire and let it burn, take you the wrong way. Even when we think, oh, I don't understand, why am I going? Just go. Just do it. But trust your own intuition. Trust your own guidance, because that is the only thing that will not lead you down the wrong path. Not ever. Not one time in your life. And that's what I learned. I have to trust myself. And when I guide you and someone else, it's through my intuition, through my own internal guidance, that I can help you. Otherwise, I'll be like a chicken with my head cut off, and we'll all be running around crazy.
I love that. Can you let everybody know where we can find you, where they can find you if they wanted to reach out and receive any guidance, whether they wanted to become someone like you in your field, or someone that wants to work with you to help them heal? Let them know where they can find you.
Right now, you can only find me on Instagram at Ledia Loves Life. I am building every other platform, starting from scratch, because I'm also rebuilding myself for a brand new chapter. And you can find me there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
the show.
you.
You are just a beautiful soul.
Oh, so are you.
And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.